the centering ring and lug nuts. They give you black and also chrome. Now you can see that the retaining clip keeps in that hub adapter. And the wheels got ceramic coated as well. I think the black looks nicer. What do you guys think? It's a really genius idea, because then you can make the wheel fit basically any car using these rings. All right, let's lower it and see how it looks. Looks sick. That is a new look. All right, guys, so here is the final result. Don't mind the block of wood. The parking brake's still kind of busted. I ordered new parts for it, and we're gonna get that installed when it comes. But I am really happy with how the wheels came out. It sits like perfectly flush, front and rear. We haven't adjusted the height or anything yet. We might have to, because we switched from a 17-18 setup to an 18-19 setup now. But I made sure to buy the right tire size, and the difference in diameter between the old wheels and the new wheels with the tires is not much, maybe a couple millimeters. We went with the Yokohama Advans front and rear. The fronts are the Advan Fleva, something like that. They're a 215, 35, 18. The rears, we went with the AD08R. So this is an older model of like their track compound. It's a 200 tread wear, so it's meant for like road racing and high performance driving. Car is rear wheel drive, it is turboed, so we wanted to put a nicer, stickier tire on the back. The story with these tires, I bought them on Tire Rack on a closeout sale. They were priced at like $415 each retail, but because they were considered 2018 stock, they were selling them for $205 each. So I paid 50% off. So I got these two tires, what should have been $800-900, I paid like $430 with tax. And it comes with the road hazard warranty when you buy from Tire Rack. I just noticed that these tires are actually from 2020. So that's what these four numbers are. The first two digits, 30, means the 30th week of 20. That's the year. So that's crazy. These tires are actually 2 years newer than they were advertised. Newer tires mean that they last longer. Because even if like you don't use the tires and if you don't properly store them, summer tires can crack and dry rot so quickly. We are back in the beat. Gotta wash it, do the strip wash with the Adams soap, and then that will get rid of any of the grease and wax that might be on the paint already. Then we're gonna clay bar, iron remove on the paint. We're gonna do probably a two-step compound and polish. So I've been using the Meguiar's 205 and the 105 with the Chemical Guys orange pad and the white pad. I think this is a single stage paint. I'm not 100% sure. It could be a clear coat. I know for a fact, like, this is single stage paint because it's like faded out, it turned pink, the clear coat is, the paint is like completely gone right here. The rest of the car, this could have been repainted before. That's why the rest of the car is held up compared to that one piece, and the other side is also kind of starting to fade. It's like turning different shades of red, but I think this car is a clear coat. We'll figure it out. If we start seeing red on the polish pads, then we'll know that it's a single stage. So we're not going to go too crazy with the polishing because this is old paint. We don't want to remove it completely. That's why like a light cutting 2-step will be fine. But you could see like the swirls in the hood and stuff. So that will be all gone. And then we'll just like ceramic coat it and the car will be all good to go. As far as the wheels, we'll probably take them off, clean them, and then ceramic coat those as well because it's the white wheel and it shows dirt really easily. So once we ceramic them, then it'll help repel the dirt stains much more easily. So I was surprised to see this car actually has disc brakes in the back and they make full contact, so that's good. No spacer in the rear, just the front. But yeah, like just looking at the paint, like you can see the swirls. So, and then the sticker, might be hard to find a replacement sticker, so I might just tape this off and not polish this section because I don't want to rip the sticker off. This is kind of cool, so I might just leave that too, polish around it. For some reason I just like the old JDM stuff. Yeah, looks like both front rotors aren't making full contact. That's not good. We want to have working brakes. So we'll look for new rotors. And then here's the NSX. I parked it under a tree, so of course like it's getting all dirty again. I just washed this a couple days ago. But this black paint needs some work. You could see the swirls in it, so that's why I haven't really minded parking it outside for now. Because it needs paint correction. This black paint, Berlina black, beautiful when it's clean, but as soon as you let it sit for 5 minutes, it's filthy again. This car we might PPF with a color change film. I want to do blue or white. I can't think of any other colors that I would want. I would not do clear PPF on this. If anything, I'll just paint correct and ceramic coat it if I'm keeping it black, but would love to do blue or white in the NSX. Favorite colors for sure. So the other thing I hate about this car is somebody spray can tinted this back window, so I can't see anything out the back. Look at that, completely ruined. So I'm gonna try to use like brake cleaner or some sort of paint remover to try to get that off, because that's really annoying and it looks super jank. These propane tanks last forever. I think I've been using the same tank for this torch for like 5 years now, and I've used it a lot and it's still got gas in it and it works. So we're gonna use that to heat up this banner, not a lot, just to heat it up so that we can peel it off without it ripping apart. But look, it works. So I'm just gonna like heat it up, not crazy, I don't want to burn it. So basically you just heat this up real nice and it starts to lift off in one piece, so there's no leftover glue or anything. This makes it really easy. Oh. So just heat up the whole banner and pull it off slowly. All right, so window banner is off. I dig the look much better. Got a few things here. This is what I'm going to use. Adams strip wash. So this doesn't contain any wax or any sealant or anything like that. This is meant to literally strip the paint of any grease or wax or polish that might be left on the paint, so that you have a bare surface to do paint correction on. I also have this Mother's clay bar pad. So this is an alternative to actual clay bar, and I've used this plenty times in the past. I've also used clay bar mitts, and these work really nice. They last longer, and it's more ergonomical. The other thing that would be helpful to get these things, these are really good for cleaning wheels, like the lug nut holes, getting around the barrel, and also it's good for getting into small crevices like in between the fenders or around the mirrors. Door handles are great. Emblems, which this car doesn't really have, but you can go around the emblems, you can go into the emblems. So these are really good to have. So what I'm gonna do, tomorrow's gonna rain, so I'm gonna wash the car I'm gonna do the decontamination, clay bar it, make sure that the paint is ready to go. Tomorrow we'll put it in the garage because it's supposed to rain, and then we'll actually get working on the paint correction. So once that's done, then we'll be able to ceramic coat it, and then all weekends could be sunny, so then I'll be able to drive the car all said and done. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna fill up the bucket and we'll start washing. Adam's iron remover, got a whole gallon of this stuff. It was like 40 bucks on Amazon. We're gonna use this in a spray bottle, and then we're gonna spray down the wheels and the paint. We'll let it sit for a couple minutes, and you'll start to see that anything that has like brake dust on it will start to turn purple. And then we can also use the boar's hair brush to clean the wheels, and then we'll just rinse it off. We're gonna give this a liberal spray. Get it all nice in there. You can even do around the wheel wells, do the tires. And then now we let it sit for a little bit. You can already start to see it's turning a little purple. Nice. And also it'll smell like rotten eggs. That's the other thing with iron remover. It's kind of like a hate-love kind of thing, where it smells really bad, but it's like a nice smell at the same time because you know it's like cleaning and working. So I'm rinsing the paint for the first time since I got the car, and you can see that the water already beads pretty nicely. So that means it probably has a wax on it. It still has a lot of scratches on it, so it does need paint correction. So we have to strip it anyway using that strip soap that I was just showing you. Wheels looking good. Always do the wheels first and then do the paint. This car is so small, it's literally gonna take 2 minutes to wash this whole thing. So now that the car is washed, I just like to use the soap water to clay bar the paint. All clay barred. Now we can go ahead and rinse it one last time. The only bad thing about fall is the leaves. They drop every second. As soon as I wash it off, there's another leaf on the car again. So I like these towels. They're like, I think this is Chemical Guys, but it's like a 3-foot long towel by 2 feet, and one of these I can dry off the whole NSX, so this should be no problem. Once I use the big towel to dry off the whole car, there's gonna be some streaks left, so I use the little towel. This is also an Adams microfiber, and we're just gonna clean it up so you can see where there's some streaks left. You don't want that to dry, because then it's just gonna be more hard water to be polished off. You see that right there? All those swirls? Once we're done paint correcting, that's all gonna be gone. All right guys, brand new day. We have the Beat in the garage. Yesterday we washed it and clay barred it. Today we have it in the garage, so it's completely dry. Pretty crappy weather outside right now. It's like raining, super windy, the leaves are dropping all over the place, so I'm super glad I didn't do this yesterday because the car would have been filthy as soon as I washed it. But it's here. We have it set up on the quick jack. We're gonna raise it up in a minute here. I like having the car raised when we do the detailing, because then when we do like the bottom part of the car, it's like at my chest. And this is the smallest thing I've had on the quick jack, and this is the 7,000 pound one that's like kind of longer. They make the 5,000 pound one, which is not as long, like wheelbase. This is meant for the trucks too, so I'm really surprised it actually fit. It must have a very similar wheelbase to the Miata, because the Miata, I knew when I slid this under there, front to rear, it was like basically touching the tires. So we'll see if that does it with the Beat. It looks like it won't, so we should be okay. And All we got to do now is get to the paint correction. So we have the dual action polisher from Griots. It's a 6.5 inch. We have the medium heavy cut pad, and we have the light cutting pad for finishing polish. So we're gonna do a 2-stage polish. I'm gonna do a test panel first where there's heavy scratches, and then see how the paint reacts. We actually have a tool to measure how much clear coat is on the car. So this is the device. It was, I think, $150, $200, and you download the app on your phone, and it connects to Bluetooth, and you put it on the paint, and it tells you how much clear coat is on the car, if it's ever been repainted. So it tells you in micrometers and mils. So it's like 1/1000th of an inch. So usually 4 to 6 mils is about average clear coat on a used car. When you start seeing like 9, 10, that means the car has probably been repainted. When you start seeing like 20 and 30, that typically means that there's like Bondo and the car's been through like an accident. If it's low, like 3 mils, 2 to 3 mils, that means the clear coat is running very, very low and you can't really cut too hard. So I'm gonna use that tool real quick, see what it does. I think I'm gonna only bring it up to the first level. So the other good thing about the Quick Jacks is it has these locks welded into the bottom. So it takes the weight off the hydraulic. So in case it fails, it's not gonna crush you or just drop to the ground. I'm sitting on this stool. The car is at the perfect height to polish. So I just sit here, I polish, and the car doesn't have a roof, so we don't have to do anything up there. This is the equipment that I'm using. Sorry, it's a little messy over here. But this is a Griots 6.5 inch dual action polisher. So this is very user friendly. I bought this for about $150 5 years ago, and it's a 10-foot cable. It's been maintenance free. It works really well, and I've probably done about 20 cars with this for paint correcting. And then I have a 3-inch polisher here. This is, I think, the Chemical Guys brand, or they sell this brand specifically. It's a 3-inch dual action, so this is good for getting small areas like the ledge of this trunk or above the license plate. And headphones. So these are ear protection earmuffs with built-in Bluetooth speakers. So this is awesome for detailing because it takes a couple hours, and then also you can listen to music or podcasts, whatever, so you're not getting bored while you're doing this. This is the ceramic coating that I'll be using. This is actually a really cheap, basically just Chinese brand from Amazon. $20, you get a 50 ml bottle, and it's advertised as 10H on the hardness scale. I'm not sure if that's actually true, but this is one of the cheapest ceramic coatings you can buy, and it actually has really, really good reviews on Amazon. I'll post a link below. There's like thousands of reviews. People do high-end cars with this stuff, and there's rarely ever a bad review. If you compare this to like professional grade stuff like Ceramic Pro or XPEL, you really can't, because bottles of that cost like $200, and you have to be a certified installer to even get your hands on that. So if you're a DIYer and you're doing your own cars and you don't really care to spend that much money, this is perfectly fine. I've used this on cars in the past and it actually works really, really great. So here is the Bluetooth tool. I open the app on my phone. I can't show you a program right now because I'm using my phone, but you put it on the paint and it will tell you how thick the paint is and if it's original and what kind of metal this is. So we put a piece of tape down the middle because I want to show you guys a 50-50 of the hood, or what it looks like before and after. So you can see all the scratches here in the paint on both sides. It's about equal. We're going to do this side and then we'll do a direct comparison of left and right. All right, so that was one pass with the ultra finishing polish. And I didn't want to hit it with the heaviest stuff yet because I want to see how the paint reacts. But you can see already off the bat, the heavy scratches are still there, right? But the paint immediately became more deep and glossier than the other side. It's hard to tell on the camera. Let me try to zoom in. But the left side looks more dull and hazy, and the right side that we just hit with one stage or one pass polish, already you can see the reflection better, and there's already less swirls on top. So you look on the right side, just look at the LED bar, right? It's pretty noticeable. And then you move to the left side and you can immediately see how many more swirls and scratches there are. Very crisp looking. And then boom, you see all the scratches. So that's just one pass of the ultra finishing polish. I'm gonna quickly switch to the ultra cut compound and hit the left side again, and then we'll see how it looks. The ultra cut actually creates micro swirls in the paint. So if you drive out, and if you just do this and drive out into the sun, you'll see that it kind of looks like it has a lot of, not like scratches, but you see like along the reflection of the sun, little lines of scratches. So then you have to go back and you have to hit it with the ultra finishing polish. If your car is like pretty new and the paint's not bad, you can just do this and call it a day. All right, so we just did one pass of the heavy cut compound. You can see how much more clear the red is. If we switch to the old before, you can see all the swirls and scratches surrounding the light really easily all over the hood. Then we go back here, clarity. Obviously there's still going to be some lines here and there. I don't want to cut that deep. This does not have to be perfect. We always shoot for around 80% at least, because if you start cutting too much, then you lose all your clear coat. So then we'll hit it with the finishing polish with the white pad, and then this panel will be completely done. It'll be ready to ceramic coat. So we'll rip the tape off and we'll do the other side so that the hood is completely done, and then we'll move our way to the back of the car. There we go. The finished result. It's not perfect, like I said, but I think it's better than 80%. This looks amazing. 30-year-old paint. Well, I lied. This has probably been repainted, but you get the point. Now, let's go back to the original side. Untouched, right? Boom. Look at that. Disgusting. There we go. That's a good angle. Some things that I've learned about this paint. The hood, knowing that this has been repainted before, I know it has an aftermarket clear coat on it. I don't know what kind of paint was used, but it's a good thing that I didn't do multiple passes each time I did a compound and a polish, because I noticed that when I was wiping the polish off, I was actually scratching the paint again using a clean, microfiber towel with this stuff, which is, polish and compound remover. So it's a type of lubricant, and I'm not wiping it dry. And I noticed that the clear coat is very soft on this car. What that means is, as I'm wiping it off, the paint is still, I guess, warm to the touch from the friction from the pad that I was scratching the paint again. So I let it sit, I let it cool off, and I guess reharden again. Then I went with just a very light, quick pass with the finishing polish on the white pad again, and I got rid of those scratches. So I got to be careful when I do the rest of the car that I don't go too aggressive wiping the polish off, and I got to be a little bit more careful on that. But if you guys look, this is the panel we just finished, and then this is the before. Like, you can see how many scratches there are in the paint, and then if we go back to the one we just did, like, it looks pretty much as good as new. Obviously, there's going to be small, very small imperfections, like you see a little scratch here and there, but we're not going to get everything out. But it looks 10 times better than it did before, and I'm happy with that. So if you look from like this angle, I think this is the best spot. Like, there's not a single imperfection in this area, which is awesome. All right, we just finished the hood and the front bumper. It's looking really, really good. When I said 80% before, I think we're at like 95%. Came out really, really good. This is how you tell that your car has single stage paint. The pad is green, but now it's red. The whole left side, so this quarter, that door, fender, and the hood, and the front bumper have been repainted and was finished with clear coat because none of the left side made the pad become red. Now we're doing the whole right side of the car, so the trunk, the rear bumper, this quarter, the door, and this little fender here is original paint or has been repainted with single stage paint in the past. But let me tell you, the paint looks night and day better than when I got the car. Because the thing with single stage paint is because there's no additional clear coat, the red has the clear built into it. When that paint starts to age and becomes scratched up, it becomes dull and it starts to look more pastel, more pink. But once we polish it and we cut off that top layer with the dual action, it starts to bring out the deeper original red that it looked like when it was brand new. So this door, this quarter panel, and the rear bumper, I didn't wipe off the polish yet. I have to do that. But it looks really, really good. The trunk lid is a little bit different story. This may have been the original red paint. I don't think this was ever repainted because the quarter and the door look newer and a better red than the trunk lid does. The trunk lid kind of looks more pink, I should say, especially like right here. So this may have been sun faded out and the rest of the car may have not, or this was repainted like I said. All right, so we have finished polishing the car. We did 2 stages, and now we got to prep it for the ceramic coating. So I have here a isopropyl alcohol solution that I'm spraying on the car. This is to ensure that we remove any leftover polish and dust that has settled on the paint. Now we have our ceramic coating. And we have a suede applicator. It's like a little sponge that's made out of microfiber. We're gonna pour a line down the middle. This is dry right now, so we're gonna add a little bit more to prime the pad, and then we're gonna do another line down the middle. And we'll start with one panel at a time, and we're just gonna go side to side. If it starts to feel like it's catching and it's not applying evenly, then we can add more ceramic and keep going. So we're probably gonna do half the hood because we don't want to do the whole entire thing yet, and we want to test out how long the flash period is. It's supposed to be around 1 to 5 minutes. It really depends on humidity and temperature, but you'll start to see where the ceramic will start to turn kind of like a rainbow appearance. And if you wipe it off, it'll start to feel a little bit of tackiness. That means that's the max wait time that you should let it flash. Ideally, you want to make sure that it doesn't become too tacky where it becomes really hard to rub off. Then that means you've left it on for too long. So the best way to test it out is to do like a nice 2 by, or even like a 1 foot square, and then you wait a minute, you wipe off one area. If it comes off easily, then you wait another minute and you wipe off another corner. If that's still easy, you wipe off a third corner. If that starts to be a little bit hard to rub off, then between the second and the third corner that you wiped off, that's the amount of time that you should wait between applying it and wiping it off. You start to immediately notice how much glossier and deeper the paint looks. And now it's starting to get dry. So we're gonna apply like another line. So I'm doing this with one hand. Basically a line like that. And then you go down again until we finish half the hood. You don't wanna do this in like a circular motion or kind of rub it up and down in the same path too often, because then that starts to dry out. As you're wiping it off, you'll feel a little bit of the tackiness, but then as soon as it's gone, it becomes, you notice like how smooth the paint becomes afterwards. And that's exactly what you want. All right, guys, we are all done with the beat. All that's left, coat the wheels. So we did 2 coats of the ceramic coating on all body panels and all the windows as well. The paint has come back to life so much. Looking at it in the LED lighting, we haven't even brought it outside into direct sunlight yet, but this thing is gonna be so shiny and so vibrant. Lastly, we're gonna finish up the ceramic coating on the wheels. We have a different type of coating here from G-Technic. It's called C5 Wheel Armor. It's specifically for wheels, so the coating itself goes on a lot thicker and it's more durable because it's supposed to withstand the abuse that wheels go through and the heat that's generated from the tires and also from the brakes. So we're doing the coating on the wheel. We don't use a sponge really for this. We kind of just get the applicator and we kind of just use our fingers and just wipe it all over the surface of the wheel. So we get on the lip, we get inside here on the hub, and we get around the spokes and the inside of the spokes, because you can't really do that with a sponge or else you're going to miss a lot of the area. Beat is officially done. Paint correction and ceramic coating every single surface on the car. So we started off, just to recap, we started off with pretty bad paint on the Beat. It was like doled out, not glossy, a lot of scratches. So we decontaminated the paint with iron remover and clay bar on the initial wash with the strip wash soap from Adam's Polish. And then once we let the car dry, we went ahead and prepped the surface for the 2-stage paint correction, which came out fantastic. Then we were able to do the ceramic coating. And the paint correction is the best part because it's the most time-consuming step of detailing the car, because ceramic coating in itself, anyone can do it. It's, you know, anyone can buy a bottle online. They're not expensive. The name brand stuff is usually expensive, but you can get, you know, non-brand ceramic coating and they work. I would say, I haven't tested results, but they work really well. I'm not gonna say they work as well or better than the brand names, because that would be a false statement. But I've used the non-brand stuff in the past and it's worked great for me. So I'm gonna continue using it, especially for my own projects here where, you know, the point is to keep the dollar cost low and have just as good as a result if I were to bring it to someone else and spend over $1,000. So I'm really happy with the way the car came out, and in total I think I spent $100 in material. That's all new pads, the ceramic coating, microfibers, things like that. Obviously that doesn't include the dual action polisher. You have to buy that separately. That's like another $150 to $200 depending on the ones that you buy. But overall, it's time consuming. I would estimate you spend 10 to 12 hours doing this from start to finish, and the bigger the car, the more time you're gonna spend. The worse shape the paint is in, the more time you're gonna spend. If the car is extremely dirty from the start, you're gonna have to spend a lot more time cleaning and decontaminating the paint, clay barring, things like that. So luckily the beat wasn't like filthy, it was just kind of dirty and the paint wasn't great. So we could really jump to paint correction pretty quickly. With just 2 stages of paint correction, I was able to make the car look literally brand new. And not a lot of passes on each stage either. I would literally just do 1 horizontal, 1 vertical pass, and then wipe it off, and then check it over. If I missed a spot or if one area needed a little bit more work, I would go back to those spots. But overall, you don't need to cut a lot of paint to make it look good. That's the biggest mistake of some people, is they cut too much and you end up wasting so much more clear coat or paint that you don't need to do. And the other thing is, I said it earlier in the video, is shoot for 80% perfection. Every time people think that paint correction just means making the paint look scratch free, like not a single imperfection ever. That's unrealistic, and depending how deep some scratches are, you're not going to be able to get rid of everything without literally wet sanding and getting rid of all the paint or repainting it. So the goal is to make the car look better than it did, and we achieved that goal and we exceeded it. So I'm really happy. I didn't even know this car was gonna look that good. So that's really it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a lot from this. I know it was a long and maybe even boring video, a lot of technical stuff and explaining things, but that's what I want to do, is like share my knowledge with you guys and show you like how tedious this work is. Like when you guys pay people to paint correct and ceramic coating, like you may think it's expensive, which it is. Like you're investing into your car, but you're making it look better and you're protecting it for the long term. This work is not cheap. The equipment's expensive. Learning how to do it is not cheap. Like it takes a lot of experience to really learn and how to do this properly without messing up. So all in all, 10 to 12 hours of labor, and you're paying someone $1,000, give or take. That's $100 an hour, but you know, half of that usually goes into supplies and anyway, and helping the shop grow and continuing to expand their business. So that's really it. I'm heading to Yanni's right now. He's detailing my NSX as we speak. He hit me up. He wanted to do the beat, detail and ceramic it for my birthday gift, and I was like, dude, I'm literally already filming the video and working on the beat when you asked me. And as a joke, I was like, oh, you want to do the NSX? And he's like, yeah, bring it by. I'd love to do the NSX. Just pay for the ceramic. I'm like, okay, I'll bring the NSX. So that's it. We got 2 cars detailed at the same exact time. So I'm excited to see. I'm heading over there right now. All right, we made it. Hey, NSX ready yet? There's literally a bird poop on it.
Oh yeah, let me just shoot the bird out.
I think I paid for that.
That's OEM. Look at this Supra though.
What's up, Yanni?
Hey Yanni.
Here's for your doggies. Doggy.
Doggy. Doggy.
And
Doggy.
for his cat.
Doggy.